In this video, we will be discussing about the process of vegetative propagation. So in the last video, we discussed about different types of asexual reproduction. Now here we will be continuing with the types of vegetative propagation. So vegetative propagation broadly divided into two types. One is the natural vegetative propagation and the artificial. Artificial is also known as the man-made vegetative propagation, right? Okay. Now, natural vegetative propagation means what? When the vegetative propagation, before that, let us again understand what is vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation means when the plant is able to propagate itself. That means to increase in number by some of its vegetative part. It is known as vegetative propagation. Now, which are the vegetative parts of the plant? The parts except the flower are called as the vegetative part. So, the part which does not continue the sexual mode of reproduction, all those parts will be considered as the vegetative part of the plant. And the other parts are known as the reproductive part, that is the flower. Okay, so let us see which are the conditions or which are the examples where naturally the plant is capable of producing a similar type, propagating itself by utilizing its vegetative parts. So the natural vegetative propagation again divided into three types. One is by roots, by stem and by leaf. Okay, so natural vegetative propagation by root, by stem and by leaf. Now, when the root part of the plant contributes for the formation of a new plant, then it is called as vegetative propagation by root. So we have studied in class 11 the some of the advantageous roots, or some of the the roots have changed themselves, their structure has been changed. That is called as the modification of the structures. So these modified structures, they carry out sometimes this reproduction process. So in one of the functions of modification, we also read in that it is contributing for the reproduction process. So the examples for that, the modified roots, which are the modified roots? The modified roots, we can write example like carrot, radish, beetroot. So these are some examples. There are many other such roots which store the food, the starch, as well as they have been modified to carry out the vegetative propagation. They are the storehouse for the plant. At the same time, they can give rise to new plants also. Yeah? Similarly, when the stem part also helps for the production of new plant, we call that as vegetative propagation by stem. So there are many examples for vegetative propagation by stem. We will write some examples like different types of modified stems. So here what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss different types of modified stems. So what are the modified stems we have studied? We have studied about the tuber, rhizome, okay, then the runner, sucker, and we have bulb or bulbil, okay, and we also have stolon. In the same category we have stolon. These are different types of the stem modifications which can help for the process of vegetative propagation. Now each one we will see one example. The tuber example is potato, we all have known this fact that the potato, when the eyes develop on the potato, it gives rise to a new plant. Now, what are this eye portion? The eye portion is nothing but the nodes on the modified stem. So, potato is a modified stem, and the place where the new plant comes out, that is called as the eye of potato, right? And from that node part, a new plant comes. Similarly, so this example I will write here. We will look into the leaf later. I will write here tuber. Example is potato. Okay. Rhizome. Example is ginger, turmeric. Okay. So you must have seen the ginger, turmeric. They are also modified stems, and we can see the dark colored bands on the ginger and turmeric at certain locations. Those are the nodes, and from the nodes the new plant of ginger or the turmeric can come out. So these are some examples. There are many such plants which can propagate by following this method. So rhizome is ginger, turmeric, and one more example for rhizome is the banana. So banana is also coming under the rhizome, right? Okay. So banana, the underground rhizome, the underground part of the stem rhizome, that gives rise to the new plant in banana. We all have seen the banana new plants that come out from the underground part of the plant. So that is not from the root, it is actually from the underground stem rhizome, right? Similarly, the runner example is grass, and the sucker example is also grass. So different types of grasses are there. They you must have seen the runner grass that runs parallel to the ground. Suppose this is the ground area, okay, and the grass plant will develop, and at certain places the roots will start developing and we get the plant. So in the middle places the root starts developing and we get the new grass plant like this. Clear? So these are called as the runner type of modified stem. Now sucker means what? The same stem, suppose the stem runs inside the ground. Okay, so inside the ground, if the stem runs again inside the ground, again a new plant develops with the roots under the ground, then that is called as the sucker type. Clear? So runner is parallel to ground, sucker is inside the ground, and when it comes for the stolon, it is also grass. The example is grass. So stolon, what happens? The stem, instead of parallel or going inside the ground, what happens here? The stolon will go making an angle to the ground. Okay, so making an angle, the stem will, so stem is not on the ground, it is making an angle, or it is a little above the ground. So that type is called as stolon.